When you were born, you didn't learn to believe, you simply did. There were no laws between what you imagined and what you experienced. You didn't know any limitations, so they didn't even exist. You hadn't yet been taught that particular neuroses. But something happened. In those early years, the world was fluid. Imagination wasn't fantasy. It was our perception of reality. You spoke to things that weren't there. You believed in forces you couldn't see. And why wouldn't you? You were pure awareness. No judgment, no need to prove anything. But society, well-meaning as it was, began the process of what we might call domestication. Be realistic. Stop daydreaming. That's how real life works. These weren't malicious statements. They were survival instructions. The adults around you were simply passing down the same conditioning they had received. Explore your possibilities in a limited environment. And so, slowly, you learned to distrust your higher self. You learned that belief was something childish, something to be outgrown. By the time you left childhood, the training was nearly complete. School taught you that knowledge comes from outside, that truth is something you memorize, not something you feel. Logic became king, manifestation became a fairy tale. You were rewarded for conformity and criticized for deviation. And here's the mechanism. You began to identify with the thinking mind, the chattering, analyzing, comparing mind. The deeper mind, the one that travels through the realm of all possibilities, was drowned out by the noise of constant mental activity. Belief didn't disappear. It was simply overridden by a louder system. Then came adulthood, and with it, survival mode. Bills, rent, job stress, the relentless demand to produce, to perform, to prove your worth in economic terms. You no longer had the luxury of stillness. There was no time to pause and ask, what do I actually want? Because immediate pressures were too loud. And so you entered the reactive consciousness, a state where you perpetually respond to external demands, ignoring the power of your own center. The unexpected problems arrived, the crises, the disappointments. Each one seemed to confirm the belief the world doesn't care. Reality is harsh. Better to just survive. But here's what wasn't obvious. Your reality was focused on fear. And fear, by its nature, generates more of what it's afraid of. And if that wasn't enough, the modern world introduced a new layer. Constant noise. The news cycle, social media, the 24/7 stream of information designed to capture and hold your attention. What you thought it would sell an escape, sold fear, sold outrage. Every headline a crisis, every notification a demand, every scroll a comparison. Your attention was systematically hijacked, and where attention goes, energy flows. Remember, your reality is an energy state projected by your perception, a reflection of your feelings and beliefs. If your energy is focused on noise, then your reality will be nothing but noise. But here's what stillness actually reveals. When you finally stop, when you allow the noise to settle and reduce to a meaningless state, something shocking becomes clear. None of it mattered the way you thought it did. All those problems you were carrying, all that stress, the weight of responsibility you felt for everything and everyone around you. In the stillness, you see it for what it is. A story, a role you were playing, a small bag of struggles that you were in control of since the beginning. You thought you were essential, that if you stopped holding it all together, everything would collapse. But the truth is far more humbling and far more freeing. If you disappeared tomorrow, the world would continue. The problems would resolve themselves, or they wouldn't. Life would flow on. You were never as important to the drama as you believed. And if you're not that important to the drama, then the drama is not important to you. The moment you realize you're not the center of the chaos loses its grip on you. And that's when reality becomes something else. Because once you're no longer identified with the problems, you can finally access the awareness that shapes reality. Reality begins to respond. Not in some mystical abstract way, but in tangible, undeniable ways. Synchronicities appear, doors open, the right person calls, the solution arrives. Not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. You stopped pushing against reality and started shaping it from the inside out. This isn't belief as hope. This is belief as mechanism. When you allow yourself to stop, the higher mind doesn't comfort you. It moves you. It feels almost like a rebirth, and it's absurdly simple. You just have to stop, breathe, ask, and listen. Not once, not as a technique, but as a practice, a return to your natural state. Belief isn't something you need to build. It's something you need to remember. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about recognizing the reality is far more fluid than you ever been thought. The magic never left, believe it. We just forgot how to be quiet enough to finally see it. Try it. Once you see it, once you grasp the surface, the power within you, you won't want to go back.